Hello, I'm Jeffrey Mishlove. You may have noticed that I'm including more silence in these InPresence monologues now. And what I'm doing in that silence is a variety of things. There are so many ideas in my mind, thousands of threads that I could draw on to share with you. And I'm kind of drawing on them inwardly. And also, a few segments ago, I mentioned the notion of spiritual transmission. And it occurs to me that spiritual transmission isn't about the words I use. It's almost about the vibration in between the words. But I thought maybe a few moments of silence, perhaps before and after these monologues, might help to create a space for that transmission to occur. Now, I'd like to talk about the concept of entelechy. As I understand it, the concept is a reference to purpose, to your unique purpose. Why were you born? Why are you on this planet now? What's going on here? I mean, if you were going to be born, you could have been conceived and born on any planet at any time, or on this planet in any time in any country, but you were born in your particular body. You are you. You are unique. And part of your uniqueness is what Gene Houston, one of my mentors, refers to as entelechy. It's an inner purpose in your life. Now, many of us are not in touch with our entelechy, or we go in and out of touch with it. For example, in my case, back in 2004, I was living in Las Vegas, Nevada. We had been there a few years, and at that time, it was kind of like, well, to be blunt, garbage floating on the water. That is, whichever way the tides were going, I was drifting. I didn't have a clear sense of direction and purpose at that moment in my life. And fortunately for me, I'm the kind of person who pays attention to dreams. Dreams have been one of the major sources of inner guidance in my life. And I had a dream that was very striking on one occasion. It was one of those dreams where you wake up and there's a poem. And the poem was, "When you leap from your sleep, you will get to keep the depths from the deep." That was it. When you leap from your sleep, you will get to keep the depths from the deep. Meaning getting in touch with my own inner resources. Well, the funny thing is that day that I awoke from that dream, that very day, I received an email from a fellow I'd never heard of named Dave Ellis, and he had a seminar called Falling Awake. And somehow I got on his list, and he invited me. He said, "We're going to do this Falling Awake seminar at the Institute of Noetic Sciences in Novato, California, and you're invited to attend for free." Falling awake, leap from your sleep. I thought to myself, I can't pass that opportunity up. And as a consequence of that, I attended that seminar and several other advanced seminars with Dave Ellis and his Falling Awake team. And now here's an intriguing thing about it. So many spiritual programs talk about you must let go of all your desires and attachments. Desires and attachments are bad. That's what keeps us grounded here in the earth. That's why we are, it's according to Buddhism, your desires are the basis of all suffering. Well, Dave Ellis had the opposite point of view. He said, the more desires you have, the more desirable you are. And the thrust of the Falling Awake seminar was write down all your desires. He handed us all little like shoe boxes, file boxes with 3x5 cards. He said, you write down every desire on a separate 3x5 card. And we are going to have, by the time we're finished, an enormous file of everything that you want to accomplish in your life. And you're going to begin to map out how you're going to get there, how you're going to go from A to B to C to D. And you are going to be achieving these desires. That was what basically the seminar was about, but it did have a spiritual basis, and they also taught and still teach, to my knowledge, life coaching and advanced life coaching, and I took those courses, and I'm very glad. In fact, I even signed up for a year of life coaching with a fellow named Richard Kiefer, who was one of Dave Ellis's colleagues. Now, an intriguing thing is I'm probably not the most materialistic person in the world, but I'm far from the least materialistic person you'll ever meet either. And one of the inspirations that came to me as a result, I think, of engaging in this process was I decided to get involved in the Las Vegas real estate market. And it happened to be like perfect timing, and I made a bundle that year, more than I've ever made any year of my life. I think it was 2004, just buying and selling real estate. And, you see, I may mention parenthetically, my dad was a realtor. And for a time in my undergraduate years in college, I think it would be the summer of 1968, I worked selling real estate in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the summer and earned enough money to cover my whole school year doing that, and plus some, as I recall. So now, in 2004, I thought I'll jump back into the market. It looks like a tempting opportunity. The timing couldn't have been better for me, and that's really what enabled me to shell out eventually, I think, about $10,000 for a year's worth of life coaching, which was a good thing to do. So there's an example of a couple of things: synchronicity, messages coming from dreams, Entelechy. I was getting in touch with my own inner purpose. And sometimes it might seem like a detour, like here I am, a parapsychologist and a person in the media, radio and video and television. And what am I doing? Buying and selling real estate. But for me, it was the perfect thing at that time. You know, life doesn't always follow a straight path, and there may be times when your Entelechy, your deep inner purpose, is going to take you in an unexpected direction. That's the point that I'd like to make. Unexpected direction, something new, something different. You may find an opportunity to leap from your sleep, to fall awake. You see, I've talked in a previous InPresence segment about the notion that we go from trance to trance to trance. That was Adam Crabtree's presentation in my interview with him. And what that means is a trance state is where the mind is highly focused, which is a good thing. But because the mind is highly focused, you're missing a lot when you go from trance to trance to trance. There's a lot of things that your brain will simply filter out, maybe important things that are relevant and valuable to you that you'll miss because you're so focused. So sometimes it's useful to soften your focus. Let yourself be open to anything that might come your way. You never know. Now, the focus of these monologues, of course, is largely parapsychology, but I wanted to go in any direction because I know there are, let's say in round numbers, 1,000 of you watching this video, and each of you is going to have a separate Entelechy. Your inner superconscious mind is scanning the environment, looking for opportunities. It's full of knowledge, full of things that your conscious mind isn't aware of. And it may be trying to send a message up to the conscious mind, like pay attention to this, pay attention to that. Don't ignore things. So even if you feel that you're really in touch with your deep inner purpose, that in itself can be a blinder. Like me, here I am doing video every day. What am I missing? As a result of that, I need to be aware. And so do you. I'll leave you with those thoughts. And once again, thank you for being with me.